Imagine this. Every tap, every search, every scroll is money. But not for you. Your morning Google search, your location ping, that harmless online quiz you took, they are all part of an invisible trade. A $1 trillion market built not on gold, not on oil, but on you. Today on Bridge TV, we're unpacking why personal information has become the new oil, how it powers the modern economy, who controls it, and why privacy might soon be the most valuable commodity of all. In the 20th century, empires were built on oil. In the 21st, it's data. In 2017, The Economist declared, the world's most valuable resource is no longer oil, but data. And they were right. Because today, data doesn't just describe the world, it predicts it. Every click, every online purchase, every GPS ping becomes a digital breadcrumb feeding algorithms that can anticipate what you'll want before you even know it yourself. The more we share, the smarter those systems get, and the more valuable our behavior becomes. But unlike oil, data doesn't run out. It's infinite, it's renewable, and can be used by millions of companies at once. And that's both its power and its danger. Let's talk economic. Data has flipped the rules of value creation. Traditional goods like oil or steel get used up when consumed, but data, it multiplies. A single piece of information, say your age, your shopping habits, or your browsing history, can be bought, sold, and analyzed an unlimited number of times. That's how Google and Meta built trillion-dollar empires. In 2024, Google earned $264 billion in ad revenue. Meta, $160 billion, and nearly all of it from targeted advertising. Because the more precisely you can predict behavior, the more profitable your ads become. Every like, every pause, every hesitation, it is a signal. And companies have learned to turn those signals into gold. At the macro level, the numbers are staggering. McKinsey projects that data-driven business could add up to $5 trillion to global GDP by 2030. Why? Because data feeds artificial intelligence, automation, logistics, and personalization, the core of modern efficiency. But here's the catch. It's not just how much data you have. It's whether you can process it, analyze it, and weaponize it faster than your competitors. And only a handful of corporations have that power. This brings us to a new kind of monopoly, one not built on factories or oil wells, but on algorithms. Data network effects mean the more users a company has, the more data it collects. The smarter its algorithms become, the more users it attracts. It's a perfect loop and an unbeatable moat. That's why a few players, Google, Meta, Amazon, Tencent, Alibaba, dominate not just markets but information itself. Together, just three of them, Google, Meta, and Amazon, control over 60% of global digital ad revenue. They don't just predict what people buy, they can influence what people believe. This is where the data divide appears. Big tech versus small businesses. The global north versus the global south. The US and China sit on oceans of data. Meanwhile, developing countries generate data but lack the infrastructure to process or profit from it. So we end up with data colonialism, where value flows one way, up the digital chain. And sometimes the results are darker. Remember Cambridge Analytica? Millions of Facebook profiles harvested to target political behavior. Proof that whoever controls the data controls the narrative. We've seen this before in oil, in industrialization, concentration of power, dependency, and inequality. But this time, the resource is us. So what do governments do when the world's biggest companies know more about their citizens than they do? They regulate. In 2018, the EU introduced GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation, giving Europeans the right to access, delete, and control their data. California followed with its Consumer Privacy Act in 2020, and now Data rights are becoming as fundamental as property rights. But it's not simple. Privacy rules raise compliance costs, something only the biggest tech firms can afford. So ironically, tighter rules may entrench the very monopolies they were meant to limit. Still, new models are emerging. Data as labor, where users get paid for their information. Data trusts, managing shared information collectively. Open data commons, allowing researchers to use anonymized data for public good. Even corporations are shifting strategies. Apple, for example, built its brand around privacy. Its app tracking transparency feature forces apps to ask before following you. Meta, on the other hand, depends on tracking and lost billions after Apple's changes. Suddenly, ethics is a business strategy, and privacy, it's not just a human right, it's a competitive advantage. Here's the truth. Data has become the defining resource of our century. But unlike oil, we are the source. Every app you open, every voice command, every connected device contributes to a global system that's reshaping economics, politics, and identity itself. The problem isn't data, it's who controls it. A handful of companies own the refineries. We just provide the raw material. And just like oil, the data economy produces both growth, only now that pollution is informational. Misinformation, surveillance, manipulation. The challenge ahead isn't collecting more data, it's governing it better, balancing innovation with fairness and privacy with progress. Because whoever controls data today controls the future tomorrow. Data is power, but power without accountability becomes exploitation. The data revolution doesn't have to repeat the mistakes of the oil age, which is inequality, concentration, and pollution. It can build something better if we decide that data at its core belongs not to corporations but to people. This is Bridge TV, connecting stories of economics, power, and technology. If you found this insightful, hit like, subscribe, and share this video, because the future might be digital, but it still depends on you.